A little razzle-dazzle from the Walt Disney Company had the stock going up just as predicted here on this channel, folks. But things are not all shiny when it comes to the House of Mouse. Bob Iger is going silent when it comes to Elon Musk and those lawsuits that are coming. And Gina Carano is dropping the gauntlet when it comes to what she went through and the pain, the danger that Lucasfilm caused. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel. Happy Friday to everybody out there. We made it, the weekend almost here. TGIF. And Disney may be saying TGIF real soon because they want those weekends to get away from this. And what is this we're talking about? Well, while the stock may be seeing a bump, and by the way folks, Valiant Renegade is putting out a video today. You do not want to miss it, where he's going to explain what's going on with the stock. It's bigger than we can do in this video, but I recommend it greatly. But when it comes to Disney, they want to get away from the Elon Musk and Gina Carano situation, as well as Nelson Peltz, because, well, bumps happen, but long-term is what we're looking at. And long-term, although, again, no financial advice, we see much to be wary about. How wary is Disney? We'll take a look at this response from Bob Iger when it came to his calculations as how to respond to one Elon Musk now.
I have to ask you about Elon Musk tweeting overnight that after funding a lawsuit from a fired Mandalorian actress against Disney, that he will fund any Disney employee that wants to sue you. What's your response to this?
None.
Let's play it one more time, folks, just so you can get the emphasis of how quickly Bob Iger says what he says and how quickly he wants to get away from it. Look at the face also as we do this. Folks, look at the face right now. Not a body language expert, not a person to tell you exactly what to read on someone's demeanor. But as she is reading this question, okay, we're about halfway into that question, and you can see the look on his face. You can see the downturn at the sides of the mouth. And I'm going to show you in just a minute what Gina Carano says and why this lawsuit could get very ugly and why discovery is so darn important. By the way, we'll have a video coming up this weekend about the discovery process and why it's more likely than ever that we can recall in any kind of celebrity lawsuit that this would go to actual discovery and maybe even a trial. But listen again.
Against Disney, that he will fund any Disney employee that wants to sue you. What's your response to this?
None.
Now, you'll notice too that Bob Iger has his tongue at the top of his mouth. It's very firmly placed. I would suggest, folks, that this is clearly demonstrating, to me at least, that the attorneys told Bob Iger, say nothing. And we'll show you in just a moment why they probably said that one last time.
Against Disney, that he will fund any Disney employee that wants to sue you. What's your response to this?
None.
Now, let's go to what is happening with Gina Carano. And this is going to come to us from the Glenn Beck Show, the podcast from Blaze TV. And folks, we've got the link in the description. We are going to play a very short segment of this just to do analysis. However, we recommend going and listening to the entire thing so that you can get the full explanation. We'll start at the 3-minute 58-second mark, folks. Here we go.
At the time, a couple of years ago, they didn't even contact me to let me know they were letting me go. They didn't contact me to let me know that there was about to be paparazzi stalkers and people flooding outside my house. I found all of that out just like everybody else did over the internet.
Oh my gosh.
And what was that internet reveal, folks? The internet reveal, remember, was that this came from an unnamed source at Lucasfilm, some rep from Lucasfilm, unnamed. However, we might get a name eventually because this is in the lawsuit, of course. And it was essentially to say that Gina Carano was no longer going to be a part of Lucasfilm. They had no plans for her at Lucasfilm. And then they went that extra step, which might have got them in real trouble. Or if you remember what was said by Ron Coleman, this may be Disney's attempt at defense to say, oh, well, see, we did get rid of her because of the morality clause in the contract or what have you. Well, that's speculation right now. But they went that step further and maligned her tremendously, damaging her career and her ability to get more work. That's our opinion about what they said and what the ramifications were. Let's continue to listen in. But remember, that was how Gina Carano was notified. Not even the courtesy to let her know, hey, you're about to have much attention placed on you very soon. And you know, one of the issues there is that when you are someone of such a celebrity status, there's actually a security issue in these sorts of things. Let's hear about it now.
The fact that, and it was awful. It was, I've been trying to put on a really brave face for the last couple years, but I mean, I cannot begin to even describe I couldn't leave my house for 7 days. I was being stalked. I was being harassed. They were coming up to I had to keep all of my blinds closed, and I had actually lost all hearing. I don't know. It's a very interesting, random thing. I lost all of the hearing. As soon as I was canceled, my hearing got clogged. And
so clearly physiological stress issues present. Clearly that's justified, I would say, given the fact that Gina Carano is put out there in such a way, and she did not live at the time. We're not attempting to say where she lives now or any of that kind of thing. But at the time, she did not live in a gated community. So she was clearly just wide in the open for any nut job. And what was this that Lucasfilm put out there? Well, it was clearly a statement that put her in grave danger, in my estimation, because when you come out and you give this kind of a statement about someone who is being hounded by the mob, and what did we find out yesterday in the video? Well, we found out that Leslie Hedland, the showrunner for The Acolyte, the big show supposedly coming to Disney Plus this year, supposedly, folks, by that I mean big show. Definitely a show, and it's definitely coming to Disney Plus. But the idea that it's going to be any kind of viewership bump for Disney Plus, I think not. But Leslie Hedland apparently financially active, invested in attacking Gina Carano. We don't know which other Lucasfilm employees might have been part of that, but that's in the lawsuit. That's the allegation. That's the accusation. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And in the terms of the lawsuit, it's not a criminal case at all. But, let Leslie Hedland defend herself. We'll cover that if she wants to make a statement one way or the other. We here are just reading what's in the lawsuit. But when you've got people allegedly invested financially in the destruction of a woman's career, and when you put out a statement such as this at the same time that the internet mob is after you, then you are putting someone in a position where they can unknowingly, unwittingly, suddenly have a tremendous number of people at their residence, and that's really dangerous. Now, when that comes from, let's say, a teenager, who wants to lash out at another teenager in high school, that's poor behavior, absolutely, and it can be a dangerous thing. When it is, internet trolls attempting to dox somebody and do all that stuff that we've heard about so many times with YouTube personalities, that's a horrible thing too. It can cause injury. It can cause harm. I'm thinking of situations where people call the police and do things that are incredibly inappropriate, in which our laws are not quite up to date yet to handle the danger that people put others into and what that should be in terms of criminality. But when it comes from a studio, and that's the issue, we don't know who the person is at Lucasfilm who did this, but we know that it came from a Lucasfilm rep because that's what was declared by the media outlet that did so. When it comes from a studio, that's an entirely different level of depravity that we all need to consider. I would also say to consider this as we think about why Bob Iger might want to be so silent right now. I would say, folks, consider whether or not you are so different than Gina Carano. If you espoused moderate or right-leaning views at the Walt Disney Company, would you face this kind of discrimination? Would you face this kind of negative response? Would you be closing your blinds? Would you be hiding in your home for a week? Would you have physiological symptoms of extreme stress because there are people in a company who are using it as a vehicle for your destruction? These are the things we must think about as we consume content and as we look at the Walt Disney Company and this celebration of Leslie Hedland, the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein, the showrunner now of a Star Wars show. They want Leslie Hedland. They don't want Gina Carano. Let me say that again. It deserves emphasis, ladies and gentlemen. Pay close attention to this. Star Wars, Lucasfilm, the Walt Disney Company. Focus in. The kind of woman they want is Leslie Hedland, the former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein, a woman who was allegedly financially invested in destroying Gina Carano. Now, my personal view, if that is true, that is bullying behavior from someone who gained power or gained prestige working for a man who was one of the biggest bullies on the planet. We talked about that yesterday. That's who, apparently, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Disney, that's who they want. That's the kind of woman they want in power. Clearly, actions speak. That's who's in power over Not just being an actress in a show, being the showrunner. And who do they not want? They don't want Gina Carano. That's who they don't want. Who are you more like? Are you more like Leslie Hedland? Or are you more like Gina Carano? And that will tell you, I think, in my estimation, but you be the judge of this. That will determine how you think that Disney would treat you. Now, I'm not going to tell you to boycott Disney. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of your Disney Plus. I'm not going to tell you to stop going to the theme parks. And frankly, I would be a hypocrite if I told you some of those things. Some of those items I have to do as part of the job here, but I'm not going to be hypocritical. But what I will say is, why do we invite a company such as this that would treat us in this way if we were in their house? Clearly, this is how they treated Gina Carano in their house. Why do we invite them into our house? It's something that gives me pause to think about. Why would I take this company that treated this woman in this way? Why would I let them interact with my children? That gives me great pause, tremendous pause, because I don't want people who would treat a woman in this way, any woman, treat them in this way where they have to hide in their house for a week because they were not given the simple courtesy of a notification that, hey, we're about to ravage you online to the mass, to the mob. If you can't give that simple courtesy to keep somebody safe, do I really want you to influence my children? Something to think about. But that might be why Bob Iger is going silent. And I don't know who else is going to join in with Elon Musk. I don't know what's going to happen. But I would say to keep things in perspective when it comes to this bump out of Disney. Again, go check out the Valiant Renegade channel for his analysis as to what's happening with the stock. And remember that we predicted the stock would go up. We told this. And for those of you who've been watching the channel, we've told you that in the midst of the proxy battle, the proxy war between Nelson Peltz, the Trian Group, Elon Musk, and the Walt Disney Company, that you would expect the stock will go up. And the stock has gone up. Shocker, I know. So, where does this go, though? We're not here to give you financial advice. Check out the Valiant Renegade channel when it comes to that. But we'll leave it here to say that Bob Iger doesn't seem to want to talk about Gina Carano after Lucasfilm seemed so ready to talk about Gina Carano when it came to that leak. I can't wait for a time when potentially the Disney executives and the studio executives and the Lucasfilm creatives have to talk about Gina Carano. And that would be called deposition. And I hope that happens. And I hope it's made public. Folks, that's the video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit short, to the point, sweet, but you know what? That's the way we like to do it sometimes. A vast array of different durations for these videos, and that's because we know all of you out there, you like different flavors of content and conversational links. Folks, if you like content such as this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you do stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget that we have a 60,000 subscriber celebration coming up Thursday of next week. So just 6 days from now, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will celebrate 60,000 subscribers. You all are the gigawatts. You're the electricity that drives all of this, and we appreciate each and every one of you. An attitude of gratitude. We would never treat even a stranger, not even a dog, the way that Disney treated Gina Carano allegedly. And when it comes to the folks out there who are with us, celebrating with us, powering and empowering this channel, well, folks, we view you as true friends. So welcome to the club. Welcome to the fellowship. Welcome to community. Drop a comment down below and be a part of that. And folks, we've got a big video coming out later today to talk about what is actually a win for the Walt Disney Company, and that is their partnership, whatever you want to call this, they have with Epic Games and Fortnite. There's been a lot of talk about it, and even though we just said what we said about the Walt Disney Company, we will analyze it, and we do think that it's a major positive for Disney overall. We'll explain. You don't want to miss it. We're going to tell you things that probably nobody else is talking about. We see what's on the horizon when it comes to that game and what Disney is up to. All right, folks, that is it for today. Have a great weekend. We'll see you this afternoon, though, before we head to the weekend, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Listen up, my brothers and sisters. You've been listening to fills and those with an agenda to destroy your brain cells for far too long. It's time to change your way of doing things. Hold up. TPP is the place to be. Covering the news so honestly. It's the teams that's cool and tried and true. Ahead of the culture curve, they're trying to keep you. Jonas and Pro, they run the show, and they dragged in the bearded culture casino. You got Valiant and Lord and Fourth of Line. Wonderful people, yeah, they're alright. They got weird bringing in people like Floral, but made no mistake with Lorena Creole. Amelia and John, stuttering guitarist. Martin and Tawny and someone called CMS. Fat Steven makes a bunch of all the graphics. Did I mention a partnership with Bending in the comics? Fat Sky is a guy and Doc Matt does the web stuff. There's probably some people I missed. I hope they're not telling you the news. That should be fun with accurate info that's not been spun. You can figure it out as you will see. The TPP is the place to be.
Yeah, Wilton. That was actually pretty good, or White. But I think you might have forgotten Vash.
Well, he lost all his friends. But it was implied.